When my wife Lindsay and I began homeschooling in the 1980s, families faced threats and even jail time simply for teaching their kids at home. That season shaped my passion to fight for homeschool freedom, which ultimately included defending parental rights as well.
It was just a few decades ago, in 1994, after a long legal battle fought by the pioneers of homeschooling, that the Texas Supreme Court confirmed homeschooling was indeed legal.
My family returned to Texas in 1995 and discovered the blessing of that hard-won freedom. Having homeschooled in 5 states across the country, it's crystal clear. There's no better place to raise and educate your children than Texas.
And by the early 2000s, THSC had become the advocate not only for homeschooling, but for a parent's right to raise their own child, which is why in 2022 we founded the Family Freedom Project, ensuring that not only will homeschoolers remain free, but all families in Texas will remain free to raise their children as they see fit. And that's the beauty of legacy. Each generation carries forward the mission to the next.
Thanks to the faithfulness of our members and supporters, our president Nathan Macias and the team have pursued the mission through 2025, and God has done a mighty work.
At THSC and the Family Freedom Project, we believe in keeping Texas families free. There's a fierce opposition to the divine institution of the family, but our vision is to preserve the foundation of freedom for them to raise their children as they see fit, and to develop the next generation of leaders. In 2025, we significantly advanced the mission in 3 ways: legislation, advocacy, and support.
On the legislative front, THSC and FFP passed 7 major bills protecting parental rights and homeschool freedom.
The Homeschool Freedom Act was a key victory. State agencies had tried to expand control over homeschooling without the consent of the legislature or voters. This law makes it clear the right to homeschool belongs to families, not to unelected bureaucrats.
We stood up against the unjust termination of parental rights. Families will no longer risk losing their children to CPS over an incompleted checklist of bureaucratic tasks.
These victories didn't just happen by accident. They were the fruit of decades of persistence, prayer, and thousands of families standing together. Beyond legislation, God allowed us to walk with families on the front lines of their crises. Our legal team is called upon almost every other day to defend families, whether against truancy accusations, DMV hurdles, or high-stakes situations such as CPS cases or custody disputes.
For example, in Austin, a family changed doctors to seek better care for their daughter. The first provider then reported them to CPS. We defended them in court. Seeking a second medical opinion is not child abuse.
In Central Texas, a 3-year-old briefly wandered outside and stood on the sidewalk in front of the family's house. Though safe, a neighbor called CPS. We defended this family, and we got the CPS investigation closed. A wandering child is not evidence of neglect.
These stories remind us this is about real moms, real dads, and real children. Your partnership makes possible the important work of keeping families together.
Families today need more than protection. They need encouragement and community. A highlight of 2025 was the Texas Homeschool Convention, where more than 5,000 homeschoolers gathered to renew their vision. We also invested in leaders through regional summits, equipping co-op, micro school, and hybrid school leaders. We gave them tools to strengthen their communities.
Across the state, we hosted graduations where hundreds of students and families celebrated their homeschool journey. And through Capital Days, families engaged lawmakers and showed that homeschoolers are active and united. These events are more than programs. They're sources of community, inspiration, and hope for families choosing the path less traveled. As we celebrate God's great work in 2025, we know it's far from finished. This is a spiritual battle, and the institution of the family is under attack. Every week, we see new threats against parents, government agencies pushing too far or abusing their authority, courts making devastating decisions, and policies that undermine parental rights.
That's why we're committed to seeing THSC and the Family Freedom Project remain strong and ready. Families can't schedule when a crisis hits. They need THSC and FFP ready the moment trouble begins. That's what we've done for decades. And by God's grace, it's what we'll continue to do. For 39 years, God has worked through our supporters to protect the freedom to homeschool and raise the next generation of leaders.
With your help, we will protect homeschooling and encourage and inspire families who are doing the eternally important work of educating and discipling their own children.
As the old saying goes, as goes Texas, so goes the nation. Together, we can make an impact that ripples across the nation and serves generations to come.
All of us, the Texas Homeschool Coalition and the Family Freedom Project, thank you for standing with us.